Being seen is a psychological concept that refers to one's thoughts, emotions, and true authenticity being validated and accepted. The problem when you're not being seen is that you may struggle with personal growth. You may sabotage opportunities. You may even sabotage what it is that you seek and you say that you want to desire in life. So, in this video, I'm going to discuss the root cause of not being seen, the benefits of being seen, and some solutions that you can utilize to help yourself become more seen. All right. Okay. So, let's just get straight into it. So, first, we have to understand what is it that we want people to validate? What is this I don't feel seen? What are we talking about? What we are talking about is there's a part of you that you try to express to a caregiver or a parent or a friend, and you did not receive any validation and you did not receive any acceptance. So let me give you an example of what that looks like. Say you're a child, or say when you was a child, all right, you was in the kitchen. You was with the easy bake oven. Okay. You had a pot on a stove, and what you had brewing in that pot was something that was very special to you. You might have had some Lucky Charms in that joint. You might have some marshmallows. You might have some Pop Tarts cooking in the at the bottom as the base. You might have some sprinkles on top. You probably threw in some gummy worms, maybe some action figures. You had a pot brewing, and it was special. And so once the pot was finished and it was ready to be served, you called in your caregiver. You called in someone that you deemed valuable, someone that you love, someone that you wanted to receive some type of acceptance from. You called them in to check it out. And what did they do? They rejected it. They didn't even pay no mind, no attention to what you was trying to show them. Okay? That's the first attempt of you trying to express your authenticity. Another example. You back in the kitchen. You whipping it up. You whipping it up, right? You got some, like I said, you got some crystals in that joint this time. You got some four-leaf clovers in that joint. You got some dog hair. You know what I'm saying? You got maybe your favorite baby doll, Barbie in that joint. You cooking all kind of just crazy things in it. But it's not crazy to you because you're a child. A child doesn't deal with the realm of craziness. They deal with the realm of creativity. And whatever it is that you cooking in the pot this particular go around is special to you. It is your authenticity. Now, you call in your caregiver, you call in a friend, you call in whoever it is at the time that you would like to receive validation from. They come in, and guess what they do? Not only do they reject you, they don't even acknowledge you. They look at you and they keep walking by. And you, as the child, is saying, "Hey, can you please come see what I have in my pot? I really want to show you what I have in my pot. I really want to share this with you that I have. I really want you to know what I have going on." And they completely neglect you. What are we talking about? What we are talking about is this version of us. What is it that needs to be seen is our authenticity, the rawness, the essence of who we are as children. This is what we want the whole world to understand about us. This is who we want the whole world to accept, to validate, to honor, to listen, right? And so this is pretty big, okay? And so when you think about these two examples, now you understand what it is when you say, I don't feel seen. I don't feel heard. You're talking about an aspect of yourself that was completely raw. It is your true authenticity. It is who you were when you came out the womb. We want people to accept that part of ourselves. So, where is or what is the root cause? Okay, because that's the first part of this whole video. What is the root cause of not being seen? It comes from our childhood experiences. It comes from when we potentially were teenagers. It comes from when we first tried to express Look at that. Look at my word. Our 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 authentic. That word is crazy though, right? It got a little catch to it. Our look. Well, I'm again. Our authenticity, we try to express it. The first time we tried to express it, we got rejected. The second time that we tried to express it, we got neglected. The third time, if there was a third time, we didn't get we didn't get validated. What that does to the psyche as a child is the child perceives that as I'm not enough. The child perceives that as, well, I guess what I have to offer is something that people don't want to accept about me. And so what we create a all in all oh shit we create a inauthentic version of ourselves, a fake version of ourselves, just to receive approval and acceptance. What does this fake version of ourselves look like? It looks like a people pleaser. So when we were children, we were authentic first. We was raw as fuck first. And when we realized that this version of ourselves was not getting accepted, we developed another version of ourselves, and it was called the people pleaser. Or it was called the version of ourselves who shuts down, do not express anything that we feel that is vulnerable or special to us, and we isolate ourselves. Or it's both, to where we are so uncomfortable expressing that part of ourselves that we do not express that part of ourselves. And so therefore we live on autopilot, and this version of ourselves is tucked deep, deep, deep down in a dungeon. Is tucked in darkness, and it never comes out to the light because we are fearful that if we try to show people this part of ourselves again, we may get rejected, we may not get accepted, we might not get validated, we may not get heard, and as a result we don't feel seen. Okay, so this is the root cause of when we say I don't feel seen, or even I feel invisible. We're talking about emotional neglect wound. We're talking about a rejection wound, something that we experienced when we were children. All right. So now that we understand the root cause of it, let's talk about the benefit. The benefit of, let's say, being seen is you not only accomplishing and achieving, but embodying your true essence, your true authenticity. So it is a common talk around town. It's a common saying, excuse me, a common saying in the spiritual conscious community, that I just want to express my authenticity. I just want to be authentic. What we're talking about is a version of ourselves when we were very small, that we had no filters, we had no barriers, we had no walls, we had no one telling us how to move, how to think, how to talk. We just spoke from where we came from, which is essence, which is spirit. But then it got relegated, and then it got completely undermined, and then it got completely devalued, and then we became this lesser version of ourselves. So one of the benefits, like I just said, of stepping into that being seen version of ourselves is you completely living up to your highest potential, right? You completely expressing your truest authenticity and expression of yourself. This is the concept. Some people call it a spiritual concept. Some call it a psychological concept of my words today. Self-actualization. There we go. All right. Self-actual. You know what I'm trying to say. This is what this is. And so what that basically means is self-actualization basically means is you're living up to your highest potential. So let's give another example. Let's just say, what if Michael Jordan was told when he was a child or when he was a teenager that he couldn't play basketball? He just was not good at playing basketball. He needs to go ahead and get rid of that idea and that desire. Let's say Michael Jordan, when he knew, when he came out the womb, that this is what he wanted to do, he got shut down when he tried to show people his basketball moves. He got shut down when he tried to show people how he shoots a three-pointer. He got shut down when he tried to show people how he dribbled. That completely shut down his authenticity. Michael Jordan would never be Michael Jordan. But what Michael Jordan decided to do was he decided to pour into that version of himself, that true essence of who he is, and he reached to the highest potential that he possibly can. And therefore, he became one of the greatest basketball players in history. This is the same way we can view how we approach our authenticity. There's a part of us that is inside of us that is guiding us, that wants to be awakened, that wants to be alive, that wants to be rejuvenated, that wants to be revitalized. And it needs our assistance to help us become the highest and most possible version of ourselves. That is self actualization. And this piece of this powerful essence or energy comes from our authenticity. It is hidden inside of us due to all our childhood wounds and traumas, et cetera, et cetera. So that's the benefit of speaking more of your truth and being more in the scene, trying to be more seen, is you have this powerful force that guides you to something that's probably goes beyond your wildest dreams. Because I don't know. If I ever talked to Michael Jordan, I gave him an interview, I would probably ask him what he ever thought that he ever achieved or what he has achieved today. Like, was that intentional, or you just followed your dreams, you followed your talent, and you followed the thing that was inside of you, this essence that was inside you that guided you to this particular part of your life, right? So that is the benefits of being seen. Before we move forward into the solutions, let's just understand, okay, it is a biological need to be validated, be accepted, be valued, be understood, and have connection. And we have to feel a sense of belonging. This is a biological need. This is a part of this human construct. We need these particular variables in order to sustain and let's say flourish as humans. So it makes sense why sometimes people struggle and suffer with not being seen, because it's tied to our primary biological needs. So keep that in perspective, okay? And so by not receiving your biological needs, or not having your biological needs met based off what I just previously mentioned, you can have emotional distress. You can also isolate yourself because of these lack of needs being met. And so let's talk about some of the solutions that you guys can get into so you can start to work on this part of yourself. All right. So the first solution, which, is tied to everything, is inner child work. So let me just pause for the cause. For people who don't know, and for people who do know, I do specialize in inner child work. I am a certified spiritual life coach and a certified breathwork facilitator. I offer one-on-one 16-week coaching programs for people who want to heal their inner child. And we get deep. And you have to understand something about your inner child. This is why I'm harping on this. If you're listening to this video and you struggle with being seen, I want you to think about this for a moment. Your struggles of being seen happened when you was a child. So for all the naysayers and all the people who says, well, what's in the past is in the past, you can't change it. That is a fucking lie. You can actually go back to the past, and you can actually change the past to change the future. Okay? This is the type of work that I do, and this is the type of work that I help other people do. Your present moment right now is being influenced from something that happened in the past. You cannot do the things that you say you want to do because something happened to you in the past. It has nothing to do with the present. The majority of our life is when we were teens, toddlers, adolescents, babies, infants, you name it. That whole foundational formative years of development play a major role in how we grew up and how we develop as adults. So it is so important that you dive deep into inner child work. Okay. So if you're interested in inner child work, please send me a DM, comment, or drop a comment after this video, and let's have a conversation and we can talk about it. All right. So the first solution is inner child work. So with inner child work, you do want to focus on reparenting. So what that looks like is there is a version of you. Maybe you was 5 years old, 10 years old, 12 years old, whatever. Whatever age you was at, there was an experience that happened to you that made you feel like you did not get accepted and you got rejected in return. And so you have to go back and you need to reparent that part of yourself, meaning you need to become that parent, that caregiver, someone that you valued at that time. You need to get into that energy and you need to talk to that energy. You need to talk to that version of yourself and start to heal that version to yourself with the words that you wished you would have received from your caregiver or parent or a person, whoever it is that was taking care of you at the time. Okay, so how you can do that, an easy way to do that is visualization. Another way you can do that is do journal writing, where you write a letter to that version of yourself and you allow that version of yourself to tell you the things that it is missing, to tell you the things that it needs. And you fulfill those needs, not by just writing back, but also in the physical form. You take action and you start doing the things that that part of yourself says that it needs to feel supported and to be fulfilled. All right. So inner child work is very powerful. If anything, that's the only solution I would recommend. But there's other things we can do. Okay. There's other things. Okay. All right. So another solution would be is of course to validate yourself. So a part of the fact that, you know, being seen is to be validated. But rather than going outside of yourself to seek validation, give yourself the validation. Because when you give yourself the validation, guess what? The whole world validates you. Your outside world is a reflection of your inside world. It's an inside job. It's not an outside job. Every problem that we have stems from the inside. Okay. So if you're looking for a solution on the outside, you will keep looking. It would be a ever ending, never ending, never lending, whatever journey. All right. It's all on the inside. So start by validating yourself. You can get in the mirror. You can start looking at yourself. Let's say you struggle with like body dysmorphia and you want people to say that you actually have a beautiful looking body. Rather than you looking for people, even your partner, even your romantic partners, rather than you looking for them to validate how you look, you need to start doing that first. And then they will start to support it. It's a beautiful, magical trick. I'm telling you, you'll love it once you see it. All right. Another thing that you can do is seek conversations or seek connections or seek groups or seek friendships where you feel safe to express the authentic parts of yourself that you feel will be honored and validated. So if you have a bunch of friends that you're around right now who kind of remind you of your past, you feel like they're not a safe space. You feel like if you was express something that's really dear to your heart, they would shut you down. Either you need to remove yourself from them or you need to find a group of people who you feel can actually support that part of you. So the environment is everything. We all know that. The environment, you become a product of your environment. So whoever you hang out with 24 hours out the day, they're influencing you 24 hours out the day. So make sure if you're in a space where you're trying to work on this part of yourself, that you're around a supportive group that honors you and actually wants to listen to what you have to say. And um, they want to support your dreams and support your ideas, and they want you to expand. They're looking for that from you because they don't know you like your pet, your childhood friends and your mom and your dad and whoever. They don't know you. They just know who you are right now. You know what I'm saying? And so they're looking to get that support, and probably 9 times out of 10, they're also in a space where they're trying to be that person too. So it's a reflection thing. So definitely you want to find people who are in that support group setting. Another thing that you can do is heal your nervous system. So when you're trying to, let's say, put yourself out there, say for instance, you want to get on YouTube, right? And you want to make a post on YouTube, but you're fearful because you know that you're going to get judged. You're going to be ridiculed, perhaps. You're going to get criticized. People are going to talk about you, let's just say, and you may not feel too comfortable with that. Pay attention to how it feels in your body. If you feel tension, if you feel like I'm triggered right now, if you feel like I just don't feel good when I'm about to make a post, like if it stresses you out, just knowing you about to just press a little button that says post, then that means that this energy is stored in your nervous system. And so you need to utilize certain practices to help alleviate that emotion out your nervous system. So, of course, I offer breathwork event sessions. For people who don't know, I do offer breathwork virtual event sessions. I have one coming up tomorrow, actually. It's for men only. But after that, I'll be doing more co ed events. But what am I about to say? Breathwork is a great tool to help you release anything in your nervous system. Certain breathing practices in general is great for the nervous system. Um, of course, you want to get into a mindfulness practice where you start to evaluate the things that are causing your emotions to be activated and your nervous system to be activated. And you start to create like a space and start to detach to where you don't feel like it's so overwhelming when you have a situation or a trigger or anything like that. So, definitely regulating your nervous system will help you push forward actually and being more seen, because when you feel that trigger, when you feel those emotions, what it does is it puts a block on your progression. It puts a block on your willpower. So you say, oh, fuck this shit, I ain't posting nothing today. And that's the whole point. You want to discharge that energy because it's pulling you back from taking action. So definitely address your nervous system. The last solution is start small. And what do I mean by that? What I mean by that is, if you are around people who you deem safe, start sharing this like little bitty aspects of yourself that you feel that they may resonate with, or you feel that it fits the setting of the conversation, but in your heart it connects to a deeper part of yourself. It connects to the essence of who you are, your authenticity. So say for instance you're a person who is into, say, spirituality, you're into the spiritual concepts, into spiritual practices, but you are around people who are very religious. But then there's some people who are around you who kind of have an open mind. They're like religious, but they also have an open mind of like spirituality. And you're able to observe that and see that they also are like that. What you can do is practice, talking to them if they feel safe to, and share different parts of yourself, share different pieces of yourself. Um, so you're basically going to just kind of share like a journal, like small journal entries of something that you deem that is very valuable to you and connects to your authenticity. And over a period of time, that starts to build up the muscle of practicing your authenticity, of expressing your authenticity. Now, once you've realized that you're in a safe space and you realize that this is helping you, now you want to challenge yourself. You want to start expressing your authenticity or the things that you deem meaningful to people who you don't deem unsafe. You can't just always be in an environment where things feel safe. That is not growth. If I'm in a house all day and I'm fearful what the world is going to do, I'm not growing in the house. I'm just protecting myself in the house. So it's okay to start in a place that feels safe, like my home, right? But eventually you want to leave the house and you want to go out into the world. Eventually you want to take all the practices and you want to go to a place where you feel it may be unsafe, and you start to speak your truth in these quote unquote unsafe places. And by you doing that, that starts to build more of the muscle up, because now you can put on a new stack of weight. You went from 10 pounds, now you put on about 30 pounds. And so now you're able to lift more. And so now you're able to express more. You see that? And over a period of time, you can go anywhere. You didn't build up the muscle. You can stay at home and speak to your parents or your lovers or whoever, and you could tell them how you feel. And then you go out in the world and you could do the same thing in the world. Okay. So, my lovely friends, I believe that is the end of my solutions for today. So I just want to recap as my final thoughts of this whole entire video is that if you struggle with being seen, okay, understand that this is the most authentic part of yourself that still is looking to be expressed. And when you say you're suffering from being seen, what you're really saying is there's a part of you that wants to break out like the Red Hawk and say, fuck all this shit. This is how I feel. And by us suppressing that part of ourselves, we feel the emotions that comes with it. And therefore we suffer. This part of us comes from when we were a child. You have to allow that inner child to come out because your inner child has a mission also. Your inner child has desires also. Your inner child has a part of itself that wants to be liberated. It wants to be free. But as adults, social conditioning, social programming, you name it, experiences, trauma, it keeps this voice inside of us completely depressed, suppressed, and silent. So, on that note, I would love to hear what you guys are struggling with in terms of being seen. Are you struggling with like making posts on social media? Are you struggling with, perhaps putting out a certain special project you have? Like, I would love to see how that manifests in you guys' lives. Because, like I said, I went through this too, so I totally resonate and I empathize with people who are going through this. And I'm still pushing through myself. But these are the things that have helped me along my journey. But specifically for me personally, it was inner child work that got me through it. So on that note, I'm gonna let y'all go. Peace.